put them together so that you can stand up. Okay. So here I put this pen are a little bit thick. So put your name, your nickname. That.
My nickname is Beautiful Lady.
Oh, okay. That's also good. Put it on that side. I can see you. And bring it with you anytime that we have the class.
So that's the quiz? No.
Yes, that is the quiz. Yeah. If you write your name in a beautiful way, then you get more credit.
Oh, gusto ko ba yung sabi ko sa ako? Gusto mo din din.
Okay, so then, by the time you're yeah, okay. You have a little quiz. Yeah. We have a little bit quiz. Yeah. Write down what you have done for the past weekend. No, I'm just kidding. You fold it up like this. Yeah. And fold it again. Then lift it up like this. And put your name. Yeah, write your name on that side. I can see you. Yeah, there's for a thick pen. Later we will pass around. Then when you get that, you can write on it. All right. So let's start with our case presentation. Where's our team to present for the case? Right, MD Solutions, working from home. Yeah, current is also a little bit current issue. Yeah, plenty of employees, they have to work from home. Do you like to work from home? Yes? Really? Do you think work from home is good?
It requires a lot of self-discipline.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe it's good for some job occupation. It depends on, it's varies by the nature of your work. Okay, there are some jobs actually it's not that good for you to have this, like work from home. And of course, it's also important either you have the good self-discipline or not. Do you have good self-discipline? Yeah, Catherine, do you? Maybe, yeah, not that sure, like 70%, no. Okay, so, well, of course, the issue over here is a little bit complicated. It's not because of the virus, it's because of the family's issue. But then, well, this employee seems kind of very talented employee, right, in this company. Yeah, so then what's to do, from the, if you are the supervisor or if you are the managerial level, what would you do with the issue then? Okay, so that's we have the presenter, Mei-Ling, Sinja, and okay. Give her a warm welcome, right? Ah, I forgot to bring it. Okay, yeah. Here you go.
Okay, good afternoon, class. We are team 4. We are team 4. My name is Mei-Ling. My colleagues are Cynthia and Ha. So today we are going to explain to you about the case 2, which is MD Solutions working from home. Okay, so this is our outline. So before we start, I'd like to ask a bonus question for one speaker, just to make sure that you guys read the case. Who are the founders of MD Solutions? Anyone?
Oh my god.
One sticker. The founders of MD Solutions.
Manish.
Okay. Jacob. Who?
Manish Singh.
Uh-huh. One.
Ashwani.
No. There are three. If you mention all three, you get a sticker. Bonus sticker for today.
No one knows?
No one? Really? You guys didn't read the case? Okay. I guess nobody gets a sticker.
Maybe they answer one is accurate, they can get one sticker.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Jacob, you get one. Okay. Okay.
So then
So-
the other team member can help bring the sticker over.
Oh,
Okay, I will give it.
Okay. So, MD Solutions is an information technology company, and then it deals with mostly large to medium-sized corporations in banking and telecommunications, mostly based in India, in Noida, and some abroad. So it was founded by Manish, Raj, and Ajit in 2011. And when they had started the company, they only had 5 salespeople and 20 engineers. But over time, as the company grew 4 years later, they expanded and had up to 250 engineers and several managers. So the revenue for the fiscal year 2016 to 17 was expected to increase to 6.96 million euros from 6.37 million euros in the year 2015. Now, currently MD Solutions has 8 projects, 2 from banking software and 6 from telecommunication software. So according to this exhibit, this is how the company has been performing over the years. So you can see the turnover for the year. It's in percentages. Now,
And what's the problem?
sorry.
Do you find out the problem?
Yes, it's coming later on. Yeah. Let me just show you the outline is like this. The problem statement will come up after.
Okay.
Okay, so MD Solution has what we call as FWA, which is flexible working arrangements. You can refer it in Exhibit 6. So, what are their working arrangements? Well, with MD, employees are allowed to work from home for 3 days in a month. So, actually, managers disapproved of this because they thought that the working capability wasn't good, but still more this policy was there. So they also say that if employees are allowed to work at home for 3 days, they have improved performance, reduced commuting time, and it saved some. It had some savings for the organization. Now, for MD Solutions, teleworking was a privilege because the company had allowed their employees to telework for 3 days. Now the company had the right to implement it or discontinue it. The employee also had a choice whether they want to work at home for 3 days or not. So employees' compensation benefits and work responsibilities do not change because of the teleworking. So the hours, the salary, everything remained the same. Now, employees were all expected to comply with the organizational rules, policies, and procedures according to the working arrangements. Now, these working arrangements actually, they were based on the suitability of their jobs. Every employee had to undergo some sort of interview or training before they could be allowed to work from home. So managers were assessing employees and evaluating them, and according to their performance, then they can be determined whether they can work from home or not. So they had to complete a training course for teleworking, and if accepted, then they signed an agreement. So here are the HR practices at MD Solutions. The HR functions on an ad hoc basis with no defined policies in place. So MD being a networking company, the HR practices were mostly ignored because the main focus was project delivery. And then because of this, if employees tend to be if employees tend to be promoted, it only depended on supervisors. It was not taken to the HR. So if the supervisor says this employee is working hard, then you're promoted, which was not a good choice. The HR department only had 2 people, the HR manager and the junior assistant. So as you can imagine, an organization with 250 people, the HR department was just too little. And their main duties were only hiring and administration roles. So there was no proper communication between the HR and the existing employees, which means that employees were not able to express themselves, their problems, to the HR, and the HR had no idea what was going on in the company. So there was no formal training for employees that were being employed. Training was only done when, if required, by supervisors. So the HR cost of the company was at 4.46 million euros in 2015, and they had an increase in revenue lead to no initiatives taken to evaluate the effectiveness of the flexibility of HR policies. Next, my colleague will address this.
The next problem that we have the
You don't want to use the microphone?
actually, can everybody hear me?
No.
Okay. Let's use it. I have finger with it.
Okay. Do you hear me, Jacob?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
That's better, yeah.
Yeah. So we have the Ashwani. He's one of his delivery manager at MD Solution, and he is want to resign due to some problem, personal problem that you can see in the exhibit 1. And he worked in the MD Solution at Noida. But his wife will undergo through treatment for the next year, so he plans to relocate to be with her for the duration to the Bengaluru. So, but in this situation, MD Solution don't have any succession planning, so they cannot, impossible to replace Ashwani without the time deadline and while still meeting customer requirements. And he also find a suitable job that offers 30% increase over his current salary at MD Solution. So manage the director of MD Solution, he has to choose option that accept Ashwani resignation or accept him to work remotely. So between the 2 options, it has bring some concern that if Ashwani work remotely, so the company have to devise a new policy. For example, maybe consider about the compensation, the equity between the manager and the employee. And also the other concern that the ability to deliver new material, setting up and manage it complexity. For example, is about the lack community or the less productivity or maybe security risk. And another concern that it will affect team morale. that how Ashwani can manage the client, the project, and the team, and lots of handholding will be required, and may result in team dissent if not handled carefully. And if the company accepts the resignation, it's bring to expect that um, uh, MD solution cannot handle SKF project that is biggest project in the company. And this company is really demanding that and just want Ashwani to be a single point of contact at any solution. So they cannot handle the project without Ashwani. And if they accept the Ashwani resignation, it also affects the team morale. If new manager come to the company, so they can have a good relationship between the new manager or the old employee or something like that. So the company have to face more in challenge that not only the Ashwani designation, they have to consider about sustainable HR framework for the long-term survival because this situation that have to two people in the HR department and everything is really chaos. And with such policy, could the organize could try the right balance between the manager and the engineer while obtain strategic managing. So we consider about the role of Ashwani. So I consider two aspects that about the organization structure and the project. And he is one of three manager at any solution, and he is the only one manager delivered in the company. He manages three group leaders. Each group leader will manage 4 to 5 team leaders. So overall, he will be responsible for 172 employees. About the project, he have two projects. That is, first one is a software development with SKF. With this last nearly 2 years and account for 57.6% expected revenue. He also be responsible for other projects that with GA Capital with in 70 days. It account for 1.3% expected revenue. So overall, he will be responsible for two projects, which make up nearly 60 expected return in the next year. So next is
Okay. Now, before we start to the next page, I want to give another information why this MD solution implement the flexible working arrangement. If you can see here, this is the turnover rate that happened in the MD solution, and in the first year MD solution started the company, it's really high, like 58%. So the company go to the expert, and the expert suggests to implement this flexible working arrangement. So that's why the company implement these policies, and it's resulted quite good because the rate decreasing, and the employees also feel good, feel happy and good about this policy. And let's back to the problems. So this is how the decision-making process happen in the FD solutions. As Ha mentioned before, Manis, as the director of the FD solution, got the Aswani resignation email on 3rd March 2016. And this resignation email, the reason is because of the personal problem, and it also considered as a notice period of 1 month. And after Manis got this email, Manis called Ashwani into his office to discuss about his resignation. And from this meeting, Ashwani wanted to work remotely from Bengaluru for 1 long year, or at least spend 3 days every week in Noida. And Aswani also wondering whether the company will be able to pay for his flight and other commuting costs if the company want to retain him. And after Manis met Aswani, Manis also met Alok as the human resource manager, and then Sharon and Bhaskar as others project managers. From this meeting, all of them agree to retain Aswani by extending the flexible working arrangement policy for him, with two options emerged. The first one is to spend 3 days a week in Bengaluru, or the second one is to stay in Noida for 15 days at a stretch. Why they all agree to return Aswani? Because the first one, they think that the company cannot afford to let him go and suffer for the consequences. And for the past 5 years, Aswani also has had a good performances, and that they also expected that the replacement cost, if they let Aswani go, will be high. And then Aswani also responsible for the vital project, which is SKS project for the company. So it's gonna be high risk for them to let him go. And Manis also asked Ella to talk to the Aswani's team member to see how they think about these options. So Ella met the Aswani group leader without disclosing his resignation. And all three group leaders also think that Aswani should be allowed to work from Bengaluru. They think that Aswani will be capable enough to manage the project from Bengaluru, and they also has a good relationship with Aswani, so they have no problem on communication. So it's fine for them. However, if the company want to implement the second option, to stay in Noida for 15 days at stretch, they think that they need to prepare or train their members for such types of arrangement, because they have no experience or not familiar with that compared to the first option, which is 3 days a week in a Bengaluru. So this is the anticipated cost of replacement Aswani. You can see it's quite high, and it's also out of the options because they think if it's gonna be high risk if they give the final project, the SKS project, to the new employee or new managers. So it's out of the options, and this is the two options that they got. If you can see, it's also higher than the cost for replacing Aswani, but our team tried to analyze like the strength or the strength and the weaknesses of both these two options. So for the first options, even though it's quite high, we found that it has several strengths. Like the team members are familiar with this arrangement because originally the company already implemented like 3 days. The employee can take 3 days work at home, so it's okay for them. And the group leader also said that day-to-day activities are mostly handled by the group leader and its team. And it's of course low risk for the company because it's not gonna really give significant change to the company and its team member. And the weaknesses, of course, it's too costly and maybe it could be time consuming. And the second options, it only have one strength, it's cheaper, but and then the weaknesses, the team leader, as I said before, the team leader think that it's gonna may create a little problem for the member because they don't have any experiences, so they have to train it. It needs more time and maybe more cost also. And the Alok as the human resource manager also said that the company has no experience of handling the complexity of virtual work setting completely, so it's gonna be high risk for the company if the second option is be implemented to the company to the Aswani case. So based on this analysis, our team think that it will be better for the company to implement the first options, working 3 days per week from Bengaluru. We believe even though it's costly or high, need high cost, but the cost for allowing Aswani working 3 days per week is still affordable, then the cost of the company cannot do well or might lose their project, especially the SKS project under the Aswani, as it's vital for the company existence. And let's go to the question and answers. The first question is, are flexible HR policy always effective for an organization? Why are they not in the case of MD solution? Our team think that it's not always effective because not all flexible work arrangements are suitable for all companies or organizations, and it also depends on the type of industry. For example, if the company runs the industry in the customer services, in which the employee need to meet directly with the customer, it will be impossible for the company to implement a flexible work arrangement. And then the company or organization need to think about what they are looking to optimize, and by implementing a flexible work policy and how it will affect every aspect of the businesses, especially to the HR department. So why it's not effective in the case of MD solutions? It has two reasons based on our analysis. The first one, the role of the HR is limited because the company have to limit the budget for the HR because they just started. And there is also no proper communication, as they already mentioned before, between the HR and existing employees. So the implementation of the policy is not good. So the second, the implementation of flexible HR policy. At first, it was only for resolving high turnover, as I mentioned before, that the company faced a high turnover at first, so they have to implement this policy. And maybe at that time the company still didn't considering other results. That's why it's not running effectively in the company. And the second question.
Wait a second. Okay, so go back to the first
Okay.
question. Yeah, do you have any different ideas about especially for the first sub-questions? Are flexible HR policy always effective for an organization? Why yes or why not then? Yeah, other than like kind of the idea provided by them. Yeah.
I just want to ask whether flexible work arrangement is suitable for IT industry, like in this case. I just want to
RD in the
IT.
IT.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
In like this case. I
Yeah.
just want to ask the presentation group.
Yeah. You mean is that appropriate?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think? For IT industry?
Oh, it's a question.
Yeah.
Oh, so do you think in the IT industry it's suitable to use the these policies?
Yeah, the flexible.
Oh yeah, I mean, oh okay. Um, I think it depends on the company, because no, I don't think that in all IT, maybe how to say, it depends on the company. I don't think that all IT industry will be effective with the policies, because when you do in the IT industry, maybe they need more innovations together. They need more. They have to work together to like to how to say to
Collaborate.
yeah to
Collaborate.
with the idea or everything to deal with the project. So and the when in an IT industry project, usually it's not like just the simple project. They will be like a complex project. So I think it's not gonna yeah it,
Okay. Wait a second. Let me. Yeah, I want to. Yes. Moment. Yeah, let me check for the opinion from the IT person. Yeah. Anders. Yeah. What do you think? If there's in the near future, yeah, because he's from computer science. Yeah, in the near future, there are two companies. One is they have this flexible work schedule. Another company, it's they have this fixed work schedule, and both company, of course, like they have a good benefit and the payment, it will be similar. So which one would you prefer?
Okay, for me, the one that it has more flexible.
Uh-huh. Why?
Uh, actually, I was about to share because I had an experience
Yeah.
with this kind of job. And I didn't even need to go to the company. I was working back in Guatemala, and the company was located in the United States. So basically, they just gave us a job to develop and to give maintenance to a website. So even though the project it was really big, because so many people from different countries were working together, we only need to just by mails.
It's
and
like a
if
virtual team.
Exactly. Yeah. And if the problem was really an issue, we just made a video call and that's it. And actually, if they don't like your work, they're just gonna say, okay, thank you for your cooperation, and see you next time. But basically, yeah, we don't need to get to the future just to get to these situations. Right now, they're using it already.
So then like the quality of your project is also very important. And
Exactly.
if your quality cannot meet with their standard, then you're out.
Exactly. And right now, for the human resources and in my field, what they're not even using interviews. They're just asking you for a link for your website, and if you have any work that you have done before, just let them know. And they don't even mind if if you're rude or what, because actually what they want is the work done. Actually, I mean, in my field.
Okay. Okay. Good. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
can I ask
Yeah.
about the
Sticker. Sticker.
Okay, I will name.
I want to talk about some case.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I read in the when I read about the flexibility.
Yeah.
That in some cases that Google
Yeah.
they really successful in flexibility,
Mhm.
and but in some cases that in Yahoo, the CEO manager he has flexible policy,
Yeah.
but after one time they feel it's not useful, so he been ban this policy. So I think it's not.
They give up this policy.
Yeah, and they and he see that it's not effective, so he banned this policy in the Yahoo. So I think we don't have the right answer or the wrong answer in here. I think it depends more often that the company how company set up such policy. Because when I read about flexibility, they have to read flexibility that local low, local local nationality that work from home, but they have also numerical flexibility that they offer the work part time or those work